Uh, just a brief introduction on what this series is. We have done 96 webinars in this series over the last 4 years. In this series, we invite innovators, thought leaders, digital technology service providers, and a lot of financiers, World Bank teams who use innovation and digital technologies to transform agriculture and food systems. All the previous sessions are available on the World Bank Open Learning Campus, and we have a dedicated YouTube channel where you can participate. You can find the links to these webinars. They are in the chat box. Please go and visit them because we have about 12,000 people visiting these, and this is an important source of knowledge and learning. Please keep your microphones on mute to prevent any background noise. There will be a Q&A session after the presentation. Please type your questions in the chat and we will harvest key questions out of this so that we can have a round with the panelists based on your questions. And so today's webinar is again a very important recurring theme for our webinars. We are talking about data and digital technologies, enhancing productivity amidst climate challenges, because we know that climate is a very big issue in agriculture and it influences productivity and incomes for farmers. Today we are featuring two leading Japanese digital agriculture technology companies, eKakashi and Sagri. And I think we have been talking to eKakashi for quite some time. They are presenting what their solution is. It focuses on IoT and AI-based environmental data monitoring, providing real-time insights into plant growth, pest management, and disease control. And Sagri leverages satellite imagery and AI to enhance farming practices, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and promote sustainability by optimizing farm boundaries and resource management. Very important two initiatives from the Japanese ecosystem, who are international in their outlook and are working in many of the countries where World Bank works in. They are both focused on sustainability issues, sustainable agriculture. They are also looking at environmental impact of farming. So we also have two discussants from our World Bank teams, G.I. Kim, Senior Agriculture Economist, who leads a lot of our digital agriculture work in the Africa region, and Asuka Okumura, who is agriculture economist from our South Asia region, and she leads a lot of work in the South Asia regions. They will be discussants for the webinar. Without taking further time, I now want to invite our first speaker. I will introduce all the speakers while I invite them. The first speaker is Takashi Togami, Director and CEO of Green Incorporated, eKakashi, who has led this business as the business director. He has expertise in both information engineering and agriculture. He also established this company called Green, which promotes data-driven solutions for agriculture, and also acquired eKakashi through a business transfer. He is very well versed in, he has a BS in Applied Science from New South Wales and Masters from Mi University in Japan. And we are really looking forward to Mr. Takashi giving us the first inaugural thing. Each speaker will speak for 10 to 12 minutes, and then our discussants will speak briefly, and then we'll have a Q&A session. Over to you, Mr. Takashi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I will share my screen. Okay. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm Takashi Togami from Green Inc. So before I start, I really thank Parmesan and Sunil-san to invite us and giving us very, very precious opportunity to introduce our solution and sharing our activities to everybody here today. Thank you very much. Again, I am Takashi Togami from Green Inc. And we are providing agriculture IoT solution called eKakashi, which we developed the solution in at SoftBank Corporation. That is one of the biggest telecommunication company in Japan. So we started since 2013, and then we took over the e-Kakashi business this year. So we are pretty new. Anyway, so as you know, we have several issues in agriculture, and under these circumstances, we have to maintain productivity or to improve productivity for for food security and so on. So, but it is almost impossible to solve these issues by implementing the conventional method by now. So, conventional method, I mean, relying on experience and intuition. So a very analog way of the cultivation. So that is pretty impossible. So our idea is bringing science into agriculture with advanced technology. So we are actually using these advanced technology as a tool to meet our demand or to solve issues in agriculture. Okay. So now I'd like to introduce briefly about eKakashi. So we are providing these IoT devices. So this is very unique. We each runs on nickel metal hydride rechargeable batteries, and it's got solar panel here. So we are generating energy, and then we are using that energy with and storing energy in the batteries. And also, you can use SIM card at your locals. So it connects to the internet straight away. So we can actually install these devices wherever you want to take data. So that is very, very important to utilize collected environmental data for cultivation management and making decisions. And so just for the reference, this is our solution is only commercial in Japan, but as a reference, the price in Japan is one gateway sensors is about US $1,200. And for the monthly subscription for the application and connectivity, that is about 35 US dollars. Okay. So now we are providing very, very user-friendly and easy devices to collect environmental data. But what important is not collecting environmental data, but to utilize collected environmental data to make decisions or to support farmers. So to do so, we are actually providing two types of applications. One is web application, which is analytic tool for agronomists or researchers who are actually giving advice to farmers to increase their productivity and so on. And the other application is smartphone application for the farmer to give them information or answers. So pretty much farmers are very, very busy working on the cultivation, whatever. So what they want is not the, very like unique data or whatever, but they want answers. So we are trying to give pretty simple answer to the farmers to increase their productivity. For example, we are actually telling the optimal harvesting timing through applications and so on. Now I'd like you to see the demo video a bit. So once we collect environmental data very easily, we have got there are so many good success cases in Japan or all over the world from our project. And this is a case of Hokkaido of the potato cultivation. What they did is very, very simple. They are actually affected by the drought nowadays. And they decided to install this device in the open field or potato field, and they got actually like a soil moisture value. Then they actually decided to when to irrigate according to the data. Then they got very, very good result, and the yield was increased up to 1.6 times. And the other thing, we can apply these collected environmental data to detect or to estimate the risks of these disease of the crops. This is the case of Brazil. We actually collected many kind of environmental data, and then we created the algorithm to detect these soybean rust. So probably this story will be introduced by Dr. Michelle today. So I will skip this. Now we have the project in all over the world. And now ongoing project, we have project in Ethiopia, Benin, Nigeria, and we will start a project in Uzbekistan. And we have the project in Colombia and Brazil, and Jukas had a project in Vietnam and Cambodia. So thank you very much for your participation. This is the end of my presentation. And a bit of our project story will be also introduced by Dr. Ogawa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Takashi-san. That's very good presentation, very good overview of what's happening, and appreciate you sharing your solution in a very concise way with us. I have a great pleasure. Next speaker is Michelle. Is that true? Or Satoshi? Who is coming next?
Dr. Satoshi.
Yeah.
Okay. Dr. Satoshi Ogawa, again, he's working as a researcher and technical advisor in many institutions. He has used IoT, blockchain, e-commerce in many situations. And he's also working on climate change and lots of other things. In Colombia also, he's working on rice transplanting technology. He's completed his master's in biology from University of Valle in Valle de Cauca Department, Colombia, and obtained a PhD from there. Dr. Satoshi, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Parmesan. So, thank you for giving an opportunity today. So, I'm Satoshi Ogawa, currently a JICA expert as a rice research advisor in Paraguay. And today I will introduce my experience in the digital agriculture that can contribute to improve the rice productivity in Ethiopia. So, then. As an introduction, 5 years ago, when I was a researcher in the Japan International Research Center for the Agricultural Science, official member required to create a new project related to digital agriculture in sub-Saharan Africa, because digital agriculture was a catchy word, and many of the high-level policy documents, such as the FAO, also and World Bank, have highlighted the potential of the digital agriculture to address farmers' critical needs in achieving a sustainable agriculture intensification. However, at this moment, nobody knows what is the technology type of digital agriculture is suitable for whom, what is the constraints, and so on in sub-Saharan Africa. For that reason, we started a systematic mapping review to classify the digital agriculture with our research question. Following the systematic mapping review of the digital agriculture in sub-Saharan Africa, so we identified the mobile devices, social network system, and big data analysis are trend of the innovation type of the digital agriculture. And the main target population is a farmer to increase the productivity. So level of evidence in the pilot and scaling in sub-Saharan Africa, that means the development innovation from the other country like US, UK, in Japan is tested as a pilot project or scaling up project in Sub-Saharan Africa. And at the same time, the target issue outcome focus on the food security and poverty reduction through the either including and constraint of the adaptation is a technical issue because desert agriculture which implemented the other country is designed for the developer company. But situation with Sub-Saharan Africa is completely different compared to the US and UK. And due to the spatio-temporal heterogeneous condition, devices are not working and so on. So, and also, in brief, trend of digital agriculture in Sub-Saharan Africa means a digital-based solution, such as a smartphone app for the farmer to increase the productivity. The Ikakashi system is one of the suitable solution, which I categorize the trend of the digital agriculture. For that reason, we adapted and we contacted the Ikakashi for our digital agriculture research project. We also consolidated the target yield to bridge the gap in the Sub-Saharan Africa, especially smallholder, by the adaptation of the digital agriculture. Sometimes digital agriculture is over-expected to contribute to the yield increasing. However, the target yield gap is limited, and the main purpose to reduce the high spatio-temporal heterogeneity in the farm condition. And that means digital agriculture technology is suitable to educate and for capacity building. So this is the initial project overview in Ethiopia. Our main counterpart in the Ethiopian Institute for the Agriculture Research and the experiment is conducted in the Fogara National Rice Research and Training Center. And we have a three-step of the activity. First is the technology implementation. So we tested the digital agriculture technology in there. And second, create a science-based information for the new impact value, productivity, quality, and also opportunity. And the third is the impact station, such as yield increasing and also capacity building training. So technology implementation is conducted by the counterpart member because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our project member cannot visit to install devices. Ikakashi is designed for the easy setup and the device is working independently. For that reason, we couldn't visit it in Ethiopia for the implementation of the equipment. However, counterpart member can realize and install the devices successfully without ourselves, and real-time monitoring was started successfully. So, nowadays, there are a lot of mobile device solutions available. Following our systematic mapping, Chibenge said formulating a precise size-specific recommendation required acquiring a significant amount of farm-specific information, which is one of the major limitation of the currently available digital agriculture innovation. For example, site-specific nutrient management, such as rice advice, is one of the famous approach to realize the optimum fertilizer application for the better productivity. However, in our target area in Ethiopia, there are no irrigation system and rainfed cultivation, and the fertilizer market access is not available. For that reason, in this project, we focus on the evaluating optimum harvesting alert to contribute increase of the productivity. What is the optimum harvesting alert? This is the overview of the our concept to avoid yield loss. Timely harvesting operation is known as critical and influential process on the yield and yield quality. Following the preliminary result of the rice production, we found only 5 days of the optimum harvesting occurred 20% of the yield loss due to the bird attack and over drying and so on. Similar result was observed in Africa, and the recommendation for the optimal harvesting time is one of the effective approach to increase the farmer's productivity. And to develop a precise recommendation for optimum harvesting timing, using a past year's phenological and yield data from the Kogara National Rice Research Training Center, and we predicted the harvest date and when the target value of the accumulated temperature is 1755 degree days is reached from the sowing date. If we obtain the past field data such as the sowing date, harvesting date, and grain yield, and so on, from the first year of the install of the real-time navigation system through the Ikakashi is available to create a recommendation for the optimal harvesting timing. This is one of the advantages to select Ikakashi system in this project. And using the Ikakashi real-time navigation system, we can predict the harvesting time within the 6 days or sometimes 1 to 6 days in different farm conditions. To improve the accuracy of the prediction at the heading time, we calibrate the predicted harvest data, and this calibration improved our prediction accuracy from the 0 to 3 days at the harvesting time. So that means that our recommendation system predicted the optimal harvest time within the 3 days difference. So this is the result of the yield grain. We harvested 3 times at the Ikakashi prediction time. That means 3 times of the harvest. So one for the Ikakashi prediction, second is the researcher's prediction, and the third one is the farmer's conventional harvesting. So grain yield at the Ikakashi prediction time shows around 30% higher than that of the researcher's estimation time and the conventional harvesting time by the farmer. And that is a big impact to adopt the desert agriculture technology in Ethiopia. And in addition on the yield, there's some specific variety. We also observed improvement of the grain quality. And the grain quality such as the complete grain at the Ikakashi production and showed around 10% higher than researchers' estimation time and the conventional harvesting time by the farmer. So develop algorithm will be adapted the traditional extension system in Ethiopia without a real-time monitoring, because sometimes the Ikakashi implementation cost is big for the farmer. We can recommend it farmer, and so that means develop algorithm we can use, for example, recommended farmer to realize a harvest 139 days after sowing as daily based optimal harvesting. However, compared to the daily based optimal harvesting, real-time temperature-based monitoring by Ikakashi showed 11% higher yields than traditional way. So this 11% of the higher yield is an advantage of the productivity of the real-time monitoring system by Ikakashi. So farmer need to consider cost and benefit performance for the further adaptation. So this is a summary of the next challenge and adaptation of the digital agriculture in Ethiopia. So optimal harvesting route can increase the grain yield compared to the traditional way. So potentially the 30 to 65% depend on the variety. And in specific variety, similarly, grain quality such as the percentage of complete grain also increase around 7 to 8% point. And optimal harvesting route may contribute shortening of the cultivation period. That means that we can save the labor cost and cost of the input, like water or something. and real-time monitoring by the Ikakashi contribute 11% higher yield than traditional extension system. Of course, impact analysis, including covering area of the optimal harvesting alert and identification of the constraint of the terms and condition were needed until stable temporal heterogeneity. So thank you for your attention, and we are looking forward to your collaboration and contact for the future collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Satoshi-san. And I think it's a very interesting one, which is talking about prediction of harvesting and reducing harvesting time. And I think this is a very interesting concept of when the temperature is optimal and how can you find that by the sensors. So I think it's a very interesting application. Eventually, I think I will share your presentation with the Agriculture Transformation Institute in Addis Ababa, who's looking for all the time new ideas and new innovations. And I will link you up with the part of the government which is interested in scaling up innovations. So you need to have, we'll facilitate your chat with them as well, because I think it has potentially very interesting applications. Going now to our next presenter, we are still continuing with the Ikakashi solutions. We have Michel Rocha de Silva, Crops Team Representative Director. He's founded Crops Team in 2020, R&D company that provides data-driven consulting and digital solutions for agriculture companies, financial institutions, and farmers. He uses IoT and AI technologies from the Ikakashi platform in the South Brazil sector, and he's currently working on innovation agrometeorologically, plant ecophysiology, agriculture modeling, and lots of other areas. He has worked as a rural extensionist from 2014 to 17 at ASCAR, and then I think he has also obtained PhD in agrometeorology from Federal University of Santa Maria and University of Nebraska, Lincoln. So over to you, Michel, for your contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I think we can.
Good, good. So thank you very much for the introduction and for inviting us to this webinar. So today we'll talk a little bit of our startup that we call Crops Team, and also we'll share with you a little bit of our experience with Ikakashi in South Brazil. So a quick introduction, a little bit about Crops Team. We established our startup on 2019, 2020, in January of 2020, with one big purpose. When I was extensionist in Emater, we have a big gap between the university's knowledge and the knowledge that the farmers have. So our purpose is to bring knowledge from the university to the farmers. This is the knowledge, the purpose of Crops Team. So if we go like with our own foods to the farmers, we'll have limited access. And if we use technology, we can have a most effective way to reach more farmers. So with technology, we have more arms to reach more farmers in less time and with most cost-effective way. So to work with it, we use the knowledge that me and my partners developed during the masters and PhD at the university with crop models. So our tool is to fill this gap between the university and the farmers using the crop models. Today we have two main models that we are running. The first one is water crop. And if you see here on my left, you can see a Brazilian map. You see the globe. A little bit to the north, we can see North America, South America, in green Brazil. From this green of Brazil, we have here in the southest part of Brazil, Rio Grande do Sul state is the southest state of our country. In the heart of Rio Grande do Sul, we have Crops Team's headquarters, and we are working in these red points in 5 main states: Rio Grande do Sul, Minas Gerais, Goiás, Bahia, and Mato Grosso. And here in this map, you can see mainly the soybean area production in Brazil, 40 million hectares. It is the main crop produced in Brazil. And with water crop, we get a more optimized irrigation for the farmers. The second model that we have and we are using is the Soybean Gap. It is an app that we can see which are the management practices that we need to do to fill the gap between the potential and the actual gap of the farmers. So I will just share with you 2 examples. The first one here is with water crop. You can see in this red cycle here, you can see where this blue line is below the black line. The plant is demanding water. So pivot A, pivot B, same cultivar, similar sowing day, 2 days of difference. In pivot B, we have the water crop management. In the pivot A, the farmer does not follow the recommendation. So you can see in this map below, you can see the green field in my right with water crop. If I was a soccer player, I would like to play in this field, green, very beautiful. And in your left and my left, the pivot A, we have a little bit of green and yellow. So this is not a good field. But quantifying this difference is 21 bags per hectare. Each bag is 60 kilograms. In US dollars, pivot A lost $37,000. This is one mistake, high cost. So this is what we are working with water crop. And our second tool is the soybean gap. Here we have the yield potential in green. The highest yield the farmer can get in this specific field. And to your right, you will have the actual yield of the farmer. And in this blue red points, we can see how much he's missing with water during each phase of the field. Also in red, we can see how much he's losing for disease management, wrong disease management, and other factors that today our algorithm did not get. So in this red point, we will see now a coupling point with one tool that we have to predict disease and Ikakashi. So from now, I will start to tell a little bit of our history with Ikakashi. Our partnership started on 21-22 to test the connectability. We get 3 points in the extremes of the state, near the border with Argentina, in the southwest Brazil with Uruguay, and also close to the Atlantic Ocean. The second year, we improve a little bit, we get more points. So each flag, yellow flag here, we can see one of the points that we run with the objective of quantifying the management and the phenology from soybean in from rice fields. The second point that we did in this year, we confirmed the connectability that we saw that was very good in the first year. The second year, it was confirmed. And we collect some impressions from the farmers and partners. These impressions, we adjust with 2 words: we trust. We trust Ikakashi. That was what the farmers said to us. So in this last growing season, 23-24, we improve and we go to the next step. What we saw during these 3 years, connectability range, we have a stronger signal with Ikakashi. So when my cell phone did not work, Ikakashi can send data. So this is a very good point. Because of that, it is in stronger black here. Data quality is incontestable. We compare with a Davis weather station, and data quality is fit 1-to-1. So temperature, relative humidity, solar radiation was very good in quality. The another point is the flexibility. So we can install inside, outside of the field. It's up to us. We can connect close to the fields, or we can connect close to the house of the farmer. So this is very good. A key point here for us is that it's very easy to install. This is a key point. With the traditional weather stations, we usually use 2 hours to do an installation, and in this case we use usually 15 minutes, and with 15 minutes is too much. Usually we do with less. And the key point here, connect crop models, our crop models via API and vice versa. So we can connect and talk between crop models from crops team and Ikakashi. That's a key point. And we'll share now a little bit of our experience in this last growing season. So we have the three main projects. I will talk a little bit with this Ihara project with you. We have 4 farms, 5 fields. One of the soybean fields was missed because of the floods we have here in Rio Grande do Sul in May. And so we stay with 3 fields of soybean and 1 field of rice. Our main purpose here was to do a more environmental friendly recommendation for the farmers, thinking about the disease prediction using Ikakashi data and using the disease prediction model from crops team. The 2 diseases that we used was Asian rust for soybeans and rice blast for rice. Here an example of the soybean rust in a soybean leaf, and here an example of the neck blast in a rice. So the yield losses of one of the diseases can reach 75%, especially in the grain mass. And for rice blast, we can miss all the yield if we did not take the right management with the blast. So the first case here, we have Ikakashi against the control. Ikakashi gives us 100 kilograms more and reduce the cost because we have one less application, fungicide application in Ikakashi management. The difference for the farmer is more $60 in his pocket. The second case here we have in another city, Formigueiro. The farmer did not his management; he just did the Ikakashi management. But I would like you to look at this value. It is a soybean field with more than 6 tons per hectare. It is a lot of yield, very close to the yield potential. And here is Mariana very happy, smiling with a soybean plant of 6 tons per hectare. It is the first time that Mariana saw one soybean plant with 6 tons per hectare. And what it means for the pocket of the farmer, $2.3 thousand per hectare. And what we can see with it, with our management, we can maintain the yield potential. That's the key point of the second case. For the third case, we have another difference that the farmer did his management here in red lines, and Ikakashi just put the last application a little bit longer than the farmer's management. So what we look here, 7 reais, it is something around 1.5 reais per dollars per hectare, but we have 180 kilograms of yield improved. In the pocket of the farmer, it is $60.5 US per hectare. It is a lot of money. In the fourth case, for rice in another city, we have the difference regular management of the farmer in yellow, Ikakashi management in green, the difference in bags per hectare. Here we have the difference, 188 for the farmer and 207 bags per hectare for Ikakashi management. The difference in US dollars per hectare, 268 US dollars. It is a lot of money again. So the final message that we would like to share with you is that integrating local and global knowledge, we can make a huge impact. This is very important to share information between different places of the world. Putting in something that we can quantify, we can see that for soybeans, we have an average of 60 US dollars per hectare. And in the rice field that we have monitoring, 368 US dollars per hectare. We have a more environmental friendly management because we can produce more grains with the same number of applications. And here we can match these 2030 goals of the UN with this crop modeling Ikakashi joint. So this is a little bit of our experience with Ikakashi. I would like to thank you for your attention, and we'll be able to answer any questions after. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Michelle, and you gave a lot of good data about the impact on yield and impact on costs, impact on profitability. Farmer data is very important, and it's very interesting to see granular data on each farm who's using this data and analytics there. So before we start with the next presentation, there's good questions coming up in the chat. And when now we are we are at the end of the Ikakashi presentation. So please post your questions on those set of presentations now, because we will move to the second presentation now from Sagri. And so we will take all these after the discussions. We will take all your questions and post them back to the presenters there. So please ask questions on all the presentations till now to all the people. So now I'll have great pleasure now in introducing our next presenter, who is Kazuki Sakamoto. He's the head of ASEAN business at Sagri. He's leading the global operations of Sagri. And he's worked in both public and private sectors, and he holds a master's degree in development studies from University of Sussex and bachelor's degree in environmental relations from University of Tokyo. Over to you, Kazuki san.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, and everyone. First of all, I'm not going to talk about Ikakashi. So I'm talking about satellite and AI. So please change your mind for the topic. And first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Kazuki Sakamoto, as introduced by the team. I have been working in Southeast Asia market already for 6 years. And before joining Sagri, I was also a part of the UN member. I was working at WFP. Also, I was also working at JICA. So by combining both public and private sector experience, I'm trying to expand my business while contributing to the social impact as well. So Sagri has been founded in 2018. We have a 6 years history, and inviting the Japanese large corporate investors, along with the Japanese government, a lot of support. We are expanding our operation across regions. We are doing in 10 countries currently. And as we are working on satellite data analysis, we partner with both research institutions across country, also private company who knows about farmers. So as we use only basically satellite data, it's critical to partner with local people who knows about farmland, farming, and farmers. So I would like to appreciate all the audience. If you have any interest to partner with Sagri, we are happy to have a discussion with you. So first, I want to introduce a few technology we have. And later, I want to express about our business model. Also, I want to talk about specific project, especially in ASEAN region. As I understand, most of the case study we have heard so far is in Africa. So I want to change the gear to the ASEAN countries. So first, starting from technology, as we have a satellite analysis company, first of all, we have the technology to identify farmland boundary. We call this technology as AI polygon. So we can automatically detect the boundary of the farmland. And by doing this one, farmers can understand the precise size of the farmland without they have to go to the field to check. So we can see each plot precise size of the farmland. And this will be critical. I will be talking about carbon credit later. But when issuing a carbon credit, understanding precise size of the farmland is really critical. Secondly, we have technology called satellite-based soil analysis. And this is primarily to reduce unnecessary cost of the fertilizer. When the farmer wants to know how much of the fertilizer is the optimum, first thing farmer has to do is soil analysis. And I do understand it's not very common, especially in emerging market. Farmer will do soil analysis. It's because basically it's really expensive, because soil analysis, basically traditional way is to take the soil and send it to laboratory, mixing with the medicine so that we can see the result of the soil. Also, it takes roughly 1 month to get the result. So it's not really convenient for farmers to do soil analysis. So Sagri has been working on this by introducing this technology has been developed by university in Japan. And our technology can do very quick and affordable soil analysis. And doing this technology, basically smallholder farmer can know what's the situation of the soil. Therefore, they can basically optimize usage of the fertilizer. And in the case of like ASEAN, also India, where we are working, we see a lot of farmers are using too much amount of chemical fertilizer. It's because of some reasons, but let's say if you are fertilizer company, you want to sell as much fertilizer as possible, while farmer doesn't have much information about their soil, then in the end, farmer are using too much amount of chemical fertilizer. So using Sagri technology, we have already have a track record that in Thailand and India, we are able to reduce 10% fertilizer cost saving, while there was no impact on yield. So this is one of the technology we have to reduce unnecessary cost of farmers. Thirdly, especially in Asia, paddy field is the quite large, but it's also emitting the methane gas. And to reduce methane gas emission from the paddy field, controlling water level is the effective way. And this is a way we call alternate wetting and drying. And to monitor which farmer actually controls water level, we develop function from satellite. We can see each farmer when they reduce water level. And this will be important when we issue a carbon credit again to understand which farmer did water level control on which period. And good thing for satellite data is basically the data cannot be changed. So we can see the transparency of the data, especially when we sell the carbon credit to buyers. Having transparency on the data is very, very important. So we have been working together with Japan Space Agency, JAXA, to develop this function. So using our technology, we have already worked in Japan, India, Thailand, starting Vietnam this year. We are able to detect water from the satellite so that we can see which farmer implemented AWD, which is reducing the water level. So using our technology, what we want to do is basically we reduce the greenhouse gas emission, and we connect the farmer with carbon market so that farmer will receive additional income from this carbon credit. So using less chemical fertilizer, using more organic fertilizer, using less water, basically we want to reduce a greenhouse gas emission, which will be leading to the carbon credit market. So how we make money and how we increase the income of farmers, we basically are trying to rely on carbon market. And we have few business model, including carbon insetting and carbon credit, which I'll be going to explain from next slide. A bit different topic, as we started our business in Japan. Japan has little bit different business model. We are selling to local governments. We call land survey DX. So land survey have been done by local government in Japan. And there are many people who are going to the field to check which farmer actually implemented which crop, which farmland has been abandoned. As maybe you know, Japan is aging population, and there are many farmland has been abandoned. And this land survey has been done manually. And Sagri has been working together with government to transform the regulation. Now this land survey could be done by satellite, and we are selling our satellite application to local government. So this is currently only available in Japan market. And going back to the carbon market, we have two business models around carbon market. First one is we are naming a carbon insetting. This is basically for large food company based in developed countries such as Japan, US, or EU. Due to the government regulation, that is often the case that those companies have to disclose all greenhouse gas emissions, including the one which is outside of the country. For example, the large Japanese company, let's say, if Japanese company is importing some raw material from ASEAN, they have to disclose all the emissions, including the farmland in ASEAN. And it's not easy to estimate how much GHG has been emitted, but using our technology, which can do the soil analysis, which can also detect water presence, we can create quite high accuracy emission data. And we are selling this data to large company starting from Japan, but we want to expand to US as well as EU. And second one is a carbon credit. This one is opposite. So we work with agri company or cooperative in emerging countries. Then we reduce greenhouse emission by partnering with farmers. For example, if we reduce the chemical fertilizer, we can reduce the N2O, which is a part of greenhouse gas emission. Or if paddy field, if farmer can reduce water level, we can reduce methane gas. And by following the carbon credit methodology, which has been defined by both voluntary markets such as VERA, also compliance market defined such as by Japanese government, we call JCM, we can quantify the reduction of the greenhouse gas emission. Then we invite the Japanese large companies who want to offset the emission as basically the company listed in stock market in Japan. They are trying to be carbon neutral, but there are many companies who cannot achieve carbon neutral without purchasing carbon credit. So starting from energy company, we are starting the one project in Vietnam with sugarcane company. And we are trying to basically sell this carbon credit to energy company. And in return, farmer will receive some incentive after the company purchases carbon credit. And lastly, this is not very big business for us, but I think this is certain impact to individual farmers, which is soil analysis. For example, we are partnering with, let's say, agri companies in Indonesia, for example, and we are selling the soil data to that company, and that company will give the soil data to individual farmers. And as I explained, individual farmer can save unnecessary cost of the fertilizer when they have used too much amount. On the other hand, if they have not used sufficient amount, they may have to increase the cost. But the aim is we want to maximize the yield while not spending unnecessary cost of the fertilizer. So using those technology and business model, we are currently having project in 10 countries across region, including Japan. We have more project in Asia, as we have a branch both in India and Singapore, and we have more project in Southeast Asia and South Asia. However, we are starting expansion to South America, in Peru. Also, we are starting one project in Ethiopia, together with the MOFA Japan. So I want to just explain quickly what we are doing in Vietnam and Philippines. And if you have any interest, you want to hear about different countries, I'm happy to have a brief introduction to you. So let's get connected later. So for example, in Vietnam, you have 3 projects going. First one is FAO project, which we are helping local government in Vietnam to develop digital rice map using our AI polygon technology. We can identify how much of the rice field exists in each province. Those data will be utilized by provincial government, let's say, to issue our data or to navigate each farmers. On second one is, as I talked, we are working with sugarcane company in Vietnam on preparing to start regenerative agriculture by reducing chemical fertilizer, also increasing organic input. We are trying to generate carbon credit following a voluntary carbon credit scheme. Thirdly, we have project in South Vietnam as well, nearby Mekong Delta. We are working with cooperative in those areas, and we started to implement AWD to reduce water level from the paddy field, and which reduce methane gas. Then we want to generate carbon credit using our technology of the water detection. Similarly, in Philippines, we are working basically closely with government. First one is with Department of Agriculture Research Department. We are testing our soil analysis technology, trying to replace what the government has been done using the laboratory analysis. We want to transform that method into satellite basis to be more quick, to be more affordable. Secondly, we work with Fieldrice, which is a research institution specifically for rice. This one we are starting the AWD project similar to Vietnam, and we are trying to generate carbon credits using our technology. So that's the end of my presentation. And here is my social media. So if you have any interest working with Saguri, we are happy to be connected. And as I explained, project only in ASEAN, but we have project in Africa, also South America as well. So we want to be connected with each of you to pursue any collaboration opportunities. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Kazuki-san. I think very clear presentation, a lot of applications and a lot of regions where you are working, where there are World Bank investments, and also a lot of private sector also working there and the public sector working there, particularly on the carbon credit part, the rice platform, which you are saying about the soil. We really are working with many governments on changing the paradigm of current soil testing to include satellite-based and sensor-based kind of model. So I think it has very implications. So we will have probably a more strategic discussion with you on certain countries.
Yeah, happy to.
That's what you talked about. And I think it's a good exposure to everyone. And there are a lot of questions coming for you. Please watch the chat and start replying to them. And because I think there's a huge interest there in both the presentations. So now, without further ado, I will move to my World Bank colleagues who will talk about the implications for the World Bank projects because they lead operations in many countries. So first, I would like to bring in Ji-Hai Kim, my colleague, who leads number of operations in Africa region right now. And she really has led a lot of high impact digital agriculture projects and World Bank investments on innovations and also putting up mobile enabled agriculture extension service, mobile money, e-vouchers, and a number of other applications. She's very interested in the innovation ecosystem. She works with agri-tech startups. And prior to joining World Bank, she also worked in public and private sector in Korea and UK as well. So without further ado, I'll pass it on to Ji-Hai.
Thank you so much, Pramesh. Is my mic clear?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you so much for today's speakers. I think with the climate change really making traditional farming method more and more difficult, I think these technologies and leveraging how leveraging better, cost effectively, and also tailoring to the situations of smallholder farmers is very, very important as we conduct our mission at the World Bank. So speaking with all of you has been such a pleasure. And I have my sets of questions that are more relevant to that. But I really just want to say thank you. And but also be cognizant of this question, how we actually change the mindset and behavior of our farmers, and how we nudge them, right? Because all these data points that you collect and algorithms, at the end of the day, if we want to translate into then changing the farming practices, it really needs that pivot of translating all this into a human behavior change aspect. So what I want to discuss with you, there are a few things, but just engage model with the farmers, especially smallholder farmers. I know not all of you will have business models that are optimally set for engaging with smallholder farmers, but your face is more with large food tech, for example, for Sagri, for example. But then you have a model that looks at, I think, for example, Sagri, you have this engagement with Tanzania with a big farmer association. So could you maybe elaborate on that? And I think this model, I think it was Satoshi-san, your local optimal like harvesting alert. These are very, very interesting, and it really stress the point again with the climate change. Just missing one window of day or just missing one critical sowing time, it's a huge cost, and it's more and more so. And whenever I'm in Africa, like I go to Uganda, Kenya very regularly, and farmers all say they just miss the window, and it's such a cost for them because it's about one season completely lost, right? So how do we, even develop further this technology, or how do we control also the other potential variables that to ensure that this timing and precision is the primary factor that can drive the improvements in yields and quality. So I want to sort of discuss with you, brainstorm also on even further optimizing. Where do you see the gaps, and what sort of cutting edge solutions can you expect to even further elaborate on this? And what can institutions like us do to even fasten or speed up that process? Because we have all the skin in the game also, right? As we finance these operations day in and day out, we want to see and leverage and embed this kind of technology. So our financing also brings back a lot more yields and returns. Professor Michelle, I cannot say enough thanks for your passion in making this links between research and extension. This is actually one of my passion area. We are some of the World Bank operations, we do look at a component of how to make the nexus between extension and research more interactive and informative. So could you maybe delve more into how have that been in Brazil, for example? You mentioned soybeans and corns and wheat. What's the cost in terms of research and extension per farmer, and how do you see technology actually bring down that cost in your interactions and making sure the knowledge built is translated on the ground? And I want to then, I'm throwing a lot of questions and then mixing my questions and comments, but I think it brings a good base for our discussion, because I really want to engage you further in the discussion and even in my operations, right? Bounce ideas. And Sagri, was also very interesting for me. For its soil analysis, for example, what we're trying to do is embed the soil testing also, and really convince farmers, especially in East African farmers who actually have this belief in the quality of their soil, which is actually a huge barrier. And what we engage is we engage the local soil testing company, which is actually a startup. And they have this portable soil testing device that's connected to the cloud, which gives soil test analysis results in less than 48 hours to farmers. And of course, they have agents in the field to engage with farmers then to translate the results in a more digestible information for farmers. So given that kind of technology, also connecting then farmers to the testing, how do you see your technology, which is more remote sensing, collaborate with such local sort of locally available, more or less tech, solutions, if you will, and also I'm
Really sorry to interrupt you because we have Asuka and then we have a Q&A session. We
Yeah.
have gone beyond your 7 minutes. Sorry, I have to interrupt you there.
All right. Do you want me to finish here? Because I had just one more question.
Can you close in a minute,
We
please,
can.
if you can?
Yeah. So my last question also on that remote sensing technology, how do you actually ensure that your data analysis meet all the relevant, compliance requirements, for example, by the relevant institutions who then, gives the carbon credit? Because you use the technology to generate the credit, but I want to know that link between that of how do you do all the compliances. So that's all. Thank you for entertaining all these thoughts. But thank you again for your presentation. Over to Asuka or Pramesh.
Asuka, over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. It was great to learn these various technologies from Japan, especially for optimizing resource management, which is key for adopting climate smart agriculture, which pursue triple wins, like increasing productivity, building resilience, and reducing GHG emission. So Jihei gave a comprehensive set of very interesting questions. So having limited time, so I will only pose two a little bit high level point for further discussion. First is why and what we can learn from Japanese experience. And the second is how. It's highly related with Jihei's point, but how we can leverage these advanced technologies in transforming agri-food sector in our client countries. So the first point, why and what we can learn from Japan. And Japanese agriculture sector is facing various challenges, including the shrinking labor force due to the aging farming population and the limited cultivable lands and a small size of parcel, which is relevant with most of our client countries, and the low profitability, and the climate change and the natural disasters, which make the harvest more unpredictable. And these factors force the industry to pursue efficiency, such as vertical farming in very small space near consumers in big cities, or various type of robotics, bio or gene technologies, and also various type of data-driven solutions as we learned today. And Japanese government also has been taking various initiatives and actions, including the, for example, amendment of agriculture land law that enabling non-agri actors to come in the business. So some of the challenges which Japanese agriculture sector is facing are common with our client countries. So that's why I trust some of the solutions could be applicable depending on the context or readiness and enabling environment in these countries to scale up. So then let me move on to the second point, how we can leverage these advanced technology to transform our food sector in developing countries. And more importantly, how to scale it up. Technical challenge for adopting advanced technology in developing country could have so many items and elements, but the common ones could be cost to introduce and maintain such solutions. And second is infrastructure, such as electricity, mobile network, database, etc., and the capacity gap. And another area is incentive that is close to what Jihen mentioned. So to overcome these challenges, especially for cost infrastructure capacity, one of the questions could be who the right target for those technologies are. In case of Nepal, where I'm working for, close to 60% of population engaged with agriculture, mostly substantial. And network coverage is relatively poor, and most of smallholder farmers in remote areas, their readiness to directly utilize advanced technology may not be sufficient yet. But the end user of agtech solution may not necessarily be the smallholder farmers. Those solutions could be for the public sector, Sagri mentioned today, to provide quality public services in an efficient manner or make informed decision to repurpose public expenditure toward more climate smart agriculture investment. Or it could be for advanced agribusiness actors who target high-end market for fast-growing urban population. There are also another interesting group of people, young entrepreneurs who often live outside the country and thinking to come back to, say, Nepal to open the farm business. They may not necessarily have skills and expertise of farming yet, but they may have limited barrier to utilize tech-driven solutions. They can be market-driven farmers, but also could be service provider for farmers. Then overcoming the incentive issue, it has been challenging. It could be cultural thing or conservative nature of farmers, but also some distortive elements such as input subsidy or water pricing, which discourage optimizing resource from economic point of view. But for example, it seems to me that the carbon credit could be a very strong tool to incentivize adoption of agri-technologies, which can contribute to climate smart agriculture. If a cooperative can generate such credit and monetize it, then it will be the financial incentive for members to adopt technology on top of cost reduction due to the optimal usage of resources. For example, India recently launched a framework for the voluntary carbon market in agriculture sectors. There may be various challenges, maybe process or timing to monetize it, but it's interesting to pursue these opportunities. So I know that time is limited, so that my biggest question to everyone is, based on your pilot experience in various countries, what are your view for further scaling up to mainstream? I stop here and thank you very much again. And I will pose more direct connection direct to you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Asuka. So you should realize that I've been asked and summoned to the president's office for a meeting virtually in the next 10 minutes. So I will have to really wind because I cannot now do that. And I think someone else will have to then continue the discussion. So I will raise two questions. You have seen all the detailed questions and I would not take those. You could respond that in the chat. And what do we do is that when we send the proceedings, we send the presentations, recording, and the chat proceedings also to participants so that they have the whole picture in front of them. The two questions which really are of great interest to us is, you have developed these in situations where, like in Japan, where you have a different context of cost of a sensor and all those things. And then the services are affordable to a lot of farmers. But clearly, when you try it in Ethiopia or you try it in Vietnam and you try it in other places, the situations change. So we are looking at scale, cost, affordability, what business model will likely to work in when we work with smallholders. We also work with a lot of farmer organizations. So it means you don't have to work only with farmers. You can work with those farmer organizations which work with 500 farmers or 1,000. The situation could be that it could be replicated through a farmer organization accepting your solution rather than individual farmer, because individual smallholder farmer, you cannot reach them directly. There has to be an intermediary aggregator who can take your solution and do that. So can each of you respond on two questions? One is, how do we take this to smallholders? Two, how do we reduce costs? And how do we make it replicable in countries which have a large number of smallholders? So can you respond to this question? All the other questions have been answered by you in one way or the other, and we don't have actually the time for answering all the granular questions at this stage. So I will start in reverse order. I will now go to Kazuki first, and please be very brief in your response.
Sure. Thank you so much. I think that's brilliant questions. And first of all, I think we are not trying to work with individual farmers, as you mentioned. It's very, very difficult. So finding local partner who has network with individual farmer, this is very, very critical for our business. And one thing I can be proud about our product is we have developed this product starting from India. And we imported back this technology to Japan. So which means our pricing is quite affordable. And this is something I would say Japanese not very good at. Japanese are trying to make the quality very, very good, but pricing is one of the issue when we expand globally. So let's say the satellite, in terms of the accuracy, let's say our soil analysis, in terms of accuracy, compared to the one we will do at laboratory, of course, the accuracy is lower, but cost is much, much cheaper. So I think this adaptation of the spec and the cost is really, really important. And one thing we, as I said, starting from India was something which I'm personally very proud and which could give us more opportunity to expand into other countries. Over.
Kazuki, very much. I really appreciate that. You're talking about reverse engineering, and which is of great interest to me also, that because the cost is an important issue, because we are going to take it to 300 million smallholders. How will we take it if the cost remains high? So I think it's a good point, and I think we will have a chat with you and to look at how we talk about Africa and Southeast Asia and South Asia together. And it was Asuka's question, Nepal. I think anything, if you can make this solution work in Nepal, then you have hit the jackpot in terms of development results, basically.
Right. Yeah, I worked at WFP before, so I know how important pricing is. So I'm trying to make the pricing high.
Thank you very much. Now, let me go to Michelle now. I think the same question. I think you work in Brazil has larger landholders. I know that what is small in Brazil is not small in Africa and Asia. But how do you answer that question of, I think, suppose you are now to take the eKashi solution to all the farmers in Brazil. including large, medium, and small. How would you go about doing it? And if we want to take this to other countries, in because we work in Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, a lot of places. So if we were going to take this solution in terms of cost and replicability and scale to Latin America, Michelle, how would you go about doing it?
Perfect. Thank you, Parmesh. First of all, we would work with associations and cooperatives because we need to get in contact with the local people, the local culture. So this is the first point. The second point, we need to find the key farmers. We will not be able to reach all the farmers from the cooperative or from the association in the first year and the first contact. So we need to look for the key farmers in a buffer zone, and it's very easy to find them. You usually speak with 20 farmers, and usually the most repetitive farmer in this buffer zone will be the key farmer. If this key farmer use the technology and prove that independently of the cost, the benefit will be higher, he'll repeat in the next year, and the other farmers will follow them. So this is the way we have been working. And one point that is very important, we need to understand the timing of the agriculture. So we don't work with days, months, or years. We work with growing seasons. So this is very important. The timing is different, and we need a growing season after another to see the benefits of and we have this process. We need to understand that. So I think this is my point. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Michelle. So we will arrange a meeting with you with our Latin America team, which works across all the things, and then I think you have to discuss with them what could be the possible value proposition in terms of at least piloting it in some other countries, how we go about doing it. Are you interested in working in other countries, or you are just on Brazil right now?
No, we are expanding because Brazil is a huge country. We have not time yet to go through Brazil. After Brazil was
Brazil is huge. I agree with you. Yeah.
We visit Nigeria two years later to start the project. So this is the pilot that we went.
Thanks a lot. So coming to Satoshi-san, I think your example of this harvesting prediction and all is very unique. It's a very unique solution. And I think what will you think will be challenges if we take it from Ethiopia to other countries? What are the 2-3 considerations we have to consider if we are taking that predictive analytics based on Kakashi and other technologies to other countries in Africa, harvest prediction and other similar things?
Yeah, thank you, Parmesan. So yes, I'm actually working directly in farmer. So that means the farmer paying me, and my wife also working farmer. So I cannot say the small farmer or big farmer, but farmers' money is limited. But some of the farmer give me money for the consulting and to give some of the advice system. So actually, I worked in Ethiopia. Ethiopia model farmer loved our science-based agriculture approach, and I didn't receive any money. But she would like to know what is the algorithm of the optimal harvesting system, daily based one. So in her case, she using the Excel and notebook, and she's putting when is the optimum harvesting and so on. So then that kind of tailor-made consulting is important, especially for the small farmer. And each small farmer has a different business model. So small farmer is the owner of the farm, own farm. So then we need to give how to say tailor-made consulting or tailor-made information for her. So smartphone is or mobile device is one of the key technology to make consulting. So using the Telegram, I can work in the Ethiopian farmer, and also we are working with the Cambodian and the Peru and Paraguay. So still, my consulting system analog, but through the digital technology digital technology, yeah, we are starting to what exactly our client and farmer needed. So then, of course, I need how to say scale up method using the of course budget and also technology to expand our key technology. So that kind of discussion is further away. So I'm welcome to give me an idea on how to scale up this kind of tailor-made information provide for the farmer. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Satoshi-san. Last but not the least, I come to Takashi-san. Takashi-san, what are your plans for expansion for eTakashi platform? And as GI asked you, what should be the role of World Bank in spreading these platforms? What do you see us as a World Bank doing on this?
Actually, World Bank, thank you, Farmer-san. So World Bank are helping small farmers for their productivity and also like nutrients and so on. So whatever we can help supporting your project, we are very welcome to collaborate or like to share the knowledge or whatever. So that's what I actually expecting the World Bank to collaborate with us. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So we have come to 10:30 now, which is the time, and I'm surprised that out of 197 people, which were the maximum, I always calculate the final rate that we still have 149 standing, and we started with 197. So that figure also looks to be very good today. So I think it's almost 75-80% people staying till the end, which I think also shows that this topic was very relevant, very rich, and all the presenters really, I thank you very much for your great presentations. I also would like to thank all the people who attended this and stayed. And I'm sorry I didn't take your granular questions, but I think we will make sure that we get these questions to the presenters, and we would request presenters to answer those chat questions so that we have a complete recording of this webinar, because it doesn't stop just at the webinar. So what we are promising from our side, that we know now what your strengths are and what your good points are in terms of your technology solutions and all. We will try to help Sunil, and the team will help develop a customized kind of dialogue with those teams which would be more interested in your solution there. So we will help you navigate the discussion with various teams and various people who are very interested in your solution. So thank you, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I joined today from India, so it's quite late for me, but it's a very interesting webinar, and look forward to interacting with you soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone.